Now, finally, to end, I just want to show you some curves to show you that you can have redistribution, because sometimes, you talk about how terrible inequality is, as I've been doing, and how there's all this resistance to redistribution. And it's helpful, I think, to see that it's not, there is redistribution around the world, so it's not impossible at all. And the first graph you see here is the case of Malaysia, and it's the inequalities between the Malays and the Chinese, which are the critical ones. And at the beginning in 70, you can see huge inequality. And then by 2009, you can see that as a result of very deliberate and direct policies, you can see that they've been reduced hugely. And I'd like to emphasize that this was at a time when Malaysia did extremely well economically, so it hasn't been at the cost of the economy. The next next graph is Northern Ireland. Now, people think the peace process in Northern Ireland was all due to, say, Tony Blair and Clinton and I don't know what. I don't think so. I think it was due to some economic and social policies which produced much nearer equality between the communities. And what you see here is the sort of blue one is the position in the 70s, and the red one is the position in the 90s, and the higher the chart, the nearer to 1, the nearer to equality. And so what you see is that in every category, there was a huge advance during this period. And so by the time that the peace negotiations were going on, we had near equality between the communities in a lot of respects. And in fact, now I think education is better among the Catholics than among the Protestants. And it's interesting here, because this stops in the 1990s, that the police made least progress, and that was the issue which was continuously negotiated and nearly brought the whole peace process to an end, and it's much better now. Now, finally, this is just to show you that in developed countries, there's been a lot of redistribution, and so it's wrong to think that we do nothing. And this is how far the Gini fell as a result of redistribution in a whole range of countries, with Denmark being the biggest fall. And the top bit, the one with diagonal lines, is the result of taxation, and the bottom bit, the blue bit, is the result of public expenditure. And that in itself is interesting, because on the whole, public expenditure is much more redistributive than taxation. And that's a very important point to bear in mind, because often people criticize taxation. They say it's just proportionate to income, which is true broadly for most developing countries. But that still means it can be very redistributive, because the expenditure is not proportionate to income. So if you have more taxation and more expenditure, you get better distribution.